Welcome to the Dowden Podcast. I'm your host, the official CRG, and today we are going to talk about why you have to stop focusing on the past and really start to find ways to move forward if you want to see that real change in your life. But before we get started, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. That way you don't miss any weekly episodes and posts. You can find video of this episode strictly on YouTube, but the audio everywhere else. Now, when it comes to really letting go of the past, this is something that I have personally struggled with for a very long time, just like a lot of other people out there, having me just hold on to the sense of anger and regret, making it very hard to go about those day to day activities and truly look forward towards that real future. Because you see, when you do go and just stay in that mindset or focus on the past, just like I was, whether that's through trauma, problems, different situations, whatever it might be, it is then going to keep you in this negative mindset. Because in all reality, the hard truth is that you cannot do anything about it. You can't go back in time and fix these situations. You can't go back in time and handle things differently or maybe be there. Like, you can't do that to yourself. And when you just focus on the past, it then is just going to throw you into that negative mindset. It's then going to put you into this depression episode. It's going to spark your stress. It's going to make you have anxiety because you're putting so much on yourself, because you haven't truly let go or really walked yourself through that healing process and found a way to keep moving forward when it came to your past. Because like we said, in all reality, you can just try and forget about it. You can try and act like you're numb. You can try and push it down. You can act like it doesn't matter. But no matter what you do, it is always going to have a say. It's always going to control that motivation. It's always going to control that purpose or even just that happiness. Because when you do not move on from the past, when you let it have a say in your current day life, it truly does affect everything. No matter what you do, it is going to just have that say because it's constantly eating you up. It's constantly in the back of your mind. It's constantly something that you're dealing with, that you're worried about. So having that there is not going to help you make that change because that's exactly what it did for me. Because I was just so stuck in the past, because I was so focused on the trauma and the experiences that I went through, it literally was hindering everything. It was stopping that growth. It was stopping me from reaching those dreams. It was stopping just that day-to-day motivation and that true happiness, having me realize that if I really wanted to make a change, if I really wanted to just start living my life, then I was going to have to take control over that past entirely. Now, trust me, I get it. This definitely is easier said than done because your past might have had a big impact on your life. It might have had a big impact on your mental health. But I promise you that the sooner you start to take control, you really start to make that change, take a step back and start looking at those things as almost like positives because it made you the person you are today, because it gave you lessons on how to handle certain situations or talk to certain people. You have to really start turning things around because as you see with me, just staying in that mindset, letting the negativity get to you and just focusing on that past is not going to help you make that change. It's going to make things worse. It's going to hinder that growth. It's going to stop you from reaching that full potential because you're just letting that negativity take over. So, if you are having a hard time getting over the past, just like I was, it's controlling every single little thing you do, then you genuinely have to take a step back. You have to start looking at these things differently, start finding the motivation, start finding the positivity in these situations. Because the biggest thing that I have learned from all of my situations is that your past is your past. There is no reason why you should let the negativity define who you are as a person. You have to start changing these things and changing your mentality and turning it into a positive because the things that I just went through, not trying to compare, we all go through a bunch of different things, but the things I went through alone, if I just would have let it sit there and just focused on the past, it would have eaten me. It would have beaten me down. And I know I would not have been able to get back up. But because I changed my mentality, because I started looking at those things as a positive instead of a negative, I started realizing that because of my past, it helped pave me into the person today. It helped give me these life lessons. It helped give me that motivation to where now I can speak up and help motivate people. So no matter what you're going through, I promise that you are strong enough to get through it. You can stop living in the past. You can stop just letting it eat you on a day to day basis and start moving forward. Because I myself thought I wasn't able to do it until I took that first step, until I changed my mentality, until I really started educating myself and realizing that if I wanted to live my life, if I wanted to reach that full potential, I wanted to see that purpose, I wanted to start having that motivation and that happiness, then I had to do exactly that. But with that said, today's quote is by Alan Cohen. He once said, "The more you let go, the faster you will move ahead." I appreciate you tuning in. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And this is the Dowden Podcasts.